On this second tutorial on changing Dreamweaver CSS styles, let's just summarize where we were before. So we've changed the styles for the container, the sidebar, and the main content and the body. The rest of the similar but different task, for it we need to create some new CSS styles, in other words some styling information that Dreamweaver doesn't set up by default. And so for this we have to create new rules. It's not a lot different than what we've done before. We need to create a new rule for the H1 heading type style, and in the similar but different it says the font should be Arial, 40 point, dark blue, centered, and we want to center it as well. So let's first of all set up the new rule. If you click over again in Dreamweaver on the styles panel, instead of going to the change the edit rule icon, if I click on the new CSS rule icon, I get a window that comes up, and this is the start of creating a new CSS rule. Take the first drop down. H1 is a standard HTML tag, so I'm going to actually redefine that tag. And I look at it, it shows me all the HTML tags that can be used. I want to select H1 because that's the one I'm going to change. I press OK. The window that comes up, same as everything we've just looked at before. So we've got the same options. I want to change the type. I want to change the font to Arial, or even if I spell it properly, Arial. Font size was 40 point. Colour was dark blue. He said, hesitating. Let's have a quick check of what the rules were. So I'm asked to create it. I want Arial, 40 point, dark blue, centered. And in fact the centering, I've put it on this second line as well, is in a different section. So for centering we click on block, and where it says text alignment, centered, press OK, and as you can see the H1 heading on my Dreamweaver page, and we're still on the template page at the moment, has now become centered, blue and 40 point Arial. Let's see which other ones we've got to change. H2, so we do the same thing. H2 heading should be Arial, 20 point and dark blue. So let's create a new rule for those. Find the tag for H2, so I'm going to change the rule for HTML H2 tags. Press OK. Go to the type, Arial, 20. Remember to change it to point. Dark blue again. I think that's the lot. As you can see, the heading has changed there. Let's look at the others. Emphasis. Emphasis, by the way, in HTML is the equivalent of bold or italic. It's to emphasize text. So it's actually used for italic rather than bold. But there is an HTML tag called EM, so let's find the rule for that. We want to make it Arial, 12 point, red. So here we are again in this page, and we want to edit the rule. Again, we know it's an existing tag, so we look for the EN tag. There we are. Press OK. And I've forgotten again. Arial, 12 point, red. Arial, 12 point. And the colour this time is red. And we just basically go through the rest of the rules here. Well, let's just do it. We've only got one left. A is actually the HTML tag that defines hyperlinks. So what we're going to do now is change the styling for hyperlink sections in our web page. So we want to create a rule for HTML tag A, and we want to make it Arial, 12 point, yellow. So click on new rule, tag, find A, change the settings, Arial, 12, colour yellow. And now we have set up, let's just quickly check. So we've actually created all these CSS rules now for our template page. Final things we need to do, and as it says, it gives you the instructions there, is you need to set up the rest of the template page, setting up the logo, and just putting in some text for the navigation. Let's do that very quickly. This is fairly straightforward now. So the logo is here, and I'm just going to drag it to the top left of that bar. This prompt comes up whenever you put an image in Dreamweaver. You do not have to put the alternative text if you don't want, it's just a habit. It is useful for proper web pages. So we've got the logos in the top left, and I'll just put some text. This is going to be the hyperlink text, but I'm going to put the hyperlinks in later. So this is the home page, music, news. Check these, and they're similar but different. I'm not sure these are the right ones. They sound familiar. Fanzine and NME. So these texts will later, when we create our actual pages, become hyperlinked text. Now we can save our template page. I don't think there's any other changes. We've had the logo and the text into the sidebar. One final thing we need to do is create something called an editable region. And what that means is, on the template page, it's the part of the page that can be changed on any HTML pages that are created from this template. Or put simply, any page we create based on this template, this is the area where that page can put in details. It cannot change any of the things like the logo and the navigation bars. Why we need to do that will become plainer later. So the instructions in the similar but different are there, but let's just set up a template page. So what we need to do is click in our main area, because that's where we're going to put the bits that can be changed. I've clicked on the main content down the bottom here. I now go Insert, Template Objects, Editable Region. Comes up with a prompt saying, do I want to name it? I'll just take the default. Now I've got an editable region. I can just make this, I don't have to change anything here, but I'll just put a prompt so that any page based on it I can see where I'm meant to put my text and headings, etc. Normal, this is normal text, and I'll leave the rest as it is. So my template page is now finished. I've got my logo, I've got everything else I need in there, I've got my headings, I've changed my CSS. I need to save it as a template, so I'm going to do File, Save as Template, and I'll just give it a name. I'm going to call it Task 5, similar but different, Template. Dreamweaver should do the rest for us. So it's now saved as a template page, and if I look over here in my templates folder, it's actually saved it in the right place. So that's everything we needed to do to change the CSS and create our template page. So I'm going to stop here.